A little while ago, I was contacted by Gweike or Gweike, one of the two, if I wanted to review their Gweike Cloud. This is a 50-watt CO2 laser. Now, the normal lasers that you've seen so far on my channel are diode lasers and have a lot less power, so a lot less cutting capabilities. Now, with one of these 50-watt CO2 lasers, you can cut thicker materials and process materials a lot faster than you could with the other materials, and this one is a bit more of a professional grade machine, but still suited for home use. When the machine arrived, it arrived in a crate. This was pretty heavy and also came with special transport and not just a regular delivery guy. I was kind of surprised, as in the photos it always looks a bit smaller than it actually turns out to be. Nonetheless, when it was unboxed or uncrated, I installed it downstairs, built a special table for it, removed all of the packaging, and it was pretty much set to go. It was connected via the computer. I'm using Lightburn. There is also a cloud-based software. However, at the first moment that I started using the machine, that software wasn't really working all that well. I have contacted their support. They have figured some stuff out, and it has since been updated. I've tried it again a couple of times and worked without any problems. But I'm still using Lightburn as I prefer that program and have used it in the past with all of these other lasers. I'm pretty well versed at using it now, so that is just my go-to software, and it works really well with this laser as well. So the first project that I started to do after various tests to see which materials could be cut, how they could be cut, and what works best, I decided to make a simple custom box for some packaging. Now, this is for a product that is bought on my web shop, thescalemodelingchannel.com. This is a 3D printed body kit from Blackbox STL that I printed for a customer, and I wanted to ship it out in a nice custom box for him. So the material that I'm cutting this out of is just some cardboard sheet. When you buy this laser, they do send you a small package with a couple of sheets of different materials to use and test on this machine, and this is just the cardboard that came with it. It is a 2mm thick cardboard, very nice and flat, super clean, and it cuts really easily without any problems. So when it was finished cutting through, we just went with one pass and cut completely through the cardboard, nice and clean, and the logos and the text was engraved at a lower setting. You can simply just take it out and start assembling your small box, and in this case the packaging for the product that I'm sending out to my customer. The testing has now been completed, and I kind of know my way around the machine. So if you've seen one of my past videos, I have upgraded my Workbench, added a couple more display modules to it to store some of the model cars. I've also been working on this Porsche 911 GT3, which I already made a custom display case for, that you can see in another video on my channel. Now, I don't only build 1/24th scale kits, I also collect a lot of 1/43rd scale kits, or models so to say, and I have a pretty vast collection already. This isn't mine is in storage, and I still need to build a custom cabinet in my new house, but that is a video on itself, and that will come in the future. However, for the time being, and also for reasons of playing around with this laser, I also wanted to have some of these 1/43rd scale models and part of that collection displayed on my Workbench. Now, since I have the modules installed and I now have space for some of these, I wanted to use the laser and create some custom cabinets for it. Now, the ones that I designed were simply made at makeabox.io. This is a website where you can fill in all the specific dimensions you want your box to be, and then it can be cut out. You simply just get one of these PDF files that you can use in Lightburn and cut out these boxes that you want to have or make, just like the one that I made the custom packaging earlier, but I'm now going to do it for the display. Now, this was simply just the outside of the box, but I also wanted to have some inside shelves and parting walls in it, so I did have to customize it a little. There are other websites that can do this as well, but I haven't figured out how to use them quite yet, and some of the sites just kept crashing, so I decided to do it myself and make it the way that I exactly want and need it to be. Now, since I know myself pretty well, or at least I think I do, I am capable of messing stuff up, specifically when it comes to measurements and exact placement of things drawn on the computer. So instead of going straight to the plexiglass that is a bit more expensive, I figured I'd use some of the plywood that is supplied with the machine to test it out first and iron out the kinks. So the general shape of the box was correct, the sizing was correct too, and a lot of the slots aligned perfectly as well, but not all of them were exactly where they needed to be, and therefore it was misaligned slightly in some positions. As you can see, that center shelf is a little bit wonky. Now, no big deal. I expected this to happen a lot more than it actually did during this project, so both side pieces were fixed, and then I could move on to actually cutting it out of the plexiglass. So in the sample kit you also get a couple of sheets of clear plexiglass. Now this just looks like wood or cardboard, but that is protective paper on top of it. The design I made and needed for these display cases was cut out in one pass, just using the settings recommended by Gweike on their cloud website, and it did a perfect job, cut nice and clean and all the way through in one pass, so that does speed up the process a lot when using one of these stronger lasers. Now yes, they are a lot more expensive, but they also are a lot stronger and can do a lot more, and if you want to use this in a sort of production environment, it can save a lot of time and money, as the processing is a lot faster and it can do a lot more than some of these other lasers that I've used in the past. Now after removing all of the protective paper, I guess, from the clear plexiglass, you can see that it is a nice high quality clear plexiglass. The edges are cut nice and clean, and it all fits together really well. Now, since I forgot to design an instruction manual for myself as well, it did take quite a bit of fiddling before I figured out which parts I needed to place where, and then could move on to doing it again and again and again, just as many times as I would need for all of my display cabinets to be. Now, I also wanted a clear protective cover on the front to keep all of the dust out, and I wanted to have a custom one with my logo in it, so I just simply measured the outside dimensions, added my logo into it, and that was engraved as well. And this simply fits perfectly in place, keeping all of the dust out and the models nice and clean. Now for this first one, I just took out part of my Bentley Continental collection, and going from the oldest model to one of the newer ones, and also having some variations in there as well. But in this case, I just took out 4 of the ones that I wanted in there to see how they would fit and how it would look, and if this was actually what I wanted to have for the custom display box itself. And yes, actually this is pretty cool, and I'm really happy with it. Now the first one was cut out of clear plexiglass, as you could see, but I also wanted to play around with one in black plexiglass. The plexiglass that I bought is a gloss one. You can also buy various different shades. I believe there is matte versions too, but I got the gloss one as I kind of think that looks a little bit more expensive and a little bit more classy. However, it does attract a ton of dust straight out of the packaging. So after assembling the first one with the clear plexiglass, I figured that would be my favorite. However, after finishing the black one, I kind of changed my mind, and I like the way that looks a lot better. It gives a nice clean look, doesn't show all of the MDF from the module through, and just, yeah, like I said, gives a general nicer, cleaner look. The downside is that all of the dust shows up really, really, really clearly, so it does need to be dust-free before you install the dust cover in front of it. Now let me know which you guys would prefer, the clear one or the black one on top. For me, again, it is probably going to be the black one. So after I finish these two, I quickly cut up a second one with black to finish off my VW Golf collection, to go from the Golf 1 all the way up to the current Golf 8. Most of them are GTIs. I'm still waiting for the Golf 8 to be released in a GTI version in 1/43rd scale to finish off this collection. But since that one is not available yet, I have it on pre-order. The regular Golf 8 will have to do. Same for the Mark III. I haven't found a GTI version in 1/43rd scale. If you know of one, please let me know. I would like to upgrade this one to an actual GTI, so it fits in a lot better with the rest of the collection. Now for the Gweike Cloud, this one was sent to me for a couple of months to test. It will be going back after that test period, but in the meantime I will be doing a lot more projects with it to upgrade the workbench, upgrade some of the organization and other stuff all around the workspace and things like that, and a proper review will be done as well. If you are interested in purchasing one of these machines for yourself, I will be leaving links down below, and if I have them, I will be putting some discount codes in there as well. Please use that link, it helps the channel out, and maybe I could even keep this machine if many of you are buying them. And that is my hope, of course. I'm really happy with the way that everything turned out and the machine works, so if you're interested, do check those links out, and I'll see you on the next project with the Gweike Cloud in the future.